What is up, everybody? Today we are featuring this 2020 Ford Edge SEL, brought to us by First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. The Ford Edge is the SUV in the Ford lineup that is set between the smaller Ford Escape and, of course, their flagship SUV, the Explorer. So we're going to get a nice look at this one, which is featured in this magnetic metallic exterior color. And, of course, we have these vented front rotors, these 18-inch split spoke silver painted aluminum wheels. All right, so getting into these back seats, as you can see, this Ford Edge is a mid-size SUV. It has a 2-row, but it's not, however, a 3-row vehicle. I think if they were to try to get a 3-row in here, it would just be too tight. You really wouldn't have much trunk space whatsoever. But as you can see, with this being a mid-size SUV and a 2-row, you get plenty of space in these back seats. We have vents, we have a 12-volt outlet, we have a couple speakers on each door card, and these nice comfy leather seats. Not really much to complain about sitting behind myself at 5'9". So quickly checking out the trunk, we have plenty of space back here. We have these seats that can fold down quite easily with the lever just on the side of them, and fairly simple. We also have a 12-volt outlet and little cubby spaces here and there. So some of these standard safety features we have in this Ford Edge is the Ford Co-Pilot 360, which includes auto high beam headlamps, rear view camera, and of course blind spot monitoring. We have an infotainment system with cross traffic alert, lane keep, and pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking, pedestrian detection, forward collision warning, and of course dynamic brake support. So an interesting thing that Ford started doing with their shift levers is they've included these little dials. We no longer have a stock, we don't have a traditional lever, we have a little dial that you turn to put it in drive. This Ford Edge SEL features the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, which is of course an EcoBoost. Makes 250 horsepower, 275 pound-feet of torque. Plenty of power. We do have a 4,500 pound curb weight with this all-wheel drive though. And of course, if you're wanting some more power, you can actually opt for the ST version, which features that V6 that Ford is quite known for at this point. So on my channel, of course, we've driven a lot of high-end luxury SUVs, and this one isn't very compromised compared to those. Yes, we might miss out on some sound deadening and whatnot, but we have a lot of standard features that come in this SEL. So we have heated seats, we have a heated steering wheel, we have wired Apple CarPlay. Ford didn't put in the wireless one until their 4Sync came out. This is a 3Sync model infotainment system. We also have keyless entry and keyless start, so feel free to leave that key fob in your pocket, which is nice. And we just have plenty of safety features, which we went over before. No sunroof in here, but that is an option that you could get if you are really looking to add some light to this interior. So this front touchscreen is what runs most of your controls in this car. We do have physical buttons for things such as changing the volume or our station, and things like our defrosters, and of course our heated seats. So I do appreciate that. However, migrating some of these, some of these features into the touchscreen saves Ford money, but it provides less of a luxurious experience, as some manufacturers have started going back to, nice quality physical buttons that a lot of people want. I don't find this system hard to use though. It's fairly simple. I can keep my eyes on the road and do things such as adjust my climate or my audio from that front screen. So for what it's worth, this 2-liter 4-cylinder paired to the 8-speed automatic isn't quite responsive when you want to give it gas, but however, it picks up fairly quickly when you do. So this steering wheel has lots of buttons. We have little digital screens on either side of our gauge cluster, which you can control what shows. Things such as your current tire pressures, or your tachometer, which is probably what I would like to put there. That's a nice screen where you have your tachometer, your fuel level, and the level of your, the temperature of your oil. So that's probably where I would put that screen. And then as far as the one on the right, you can choose between entertainment and phone. Entertainment is just going to get you of course, your radio stations. I currently have it set to off. Phone will allow you to likely pull up some numbers that you could call. So we do have a sport mode in this car, which you activate by pressing this little button on the dial. I already felt the transmission downshift, which basically what that's going to do is keep us in a lower gear, giving us more access to that power when we want it. This Ford Edge also provides fairly good visibility. We have quite a nice greenhouse in here. I would say the most compromised spot is going to be your C-pillar, because it's just really, really big. That's where you have the blind spot monitoring that really helps, and of course your backup camera when you're getting in those tight spots. The one thing that I am pleasantly surprised about is actually the sound editing in here. It's fairly quiet on these smooth roads. You don't get a lot of that wind noise and outside noise. But however, this engine does provide kind of an unrefined sound when you're trying to accelerate. It's a little throaty for me. I kind of would opt for the V6 if I were looking to get one of these, but the price point also might make a difference for you. Regarding the fuel economy, of course, this is going to be a little more fuel efficient than the V6 model, but since this one has all-wheel drive, we get 21 city, and it's rated for 28 miles per gallon on the highway. All right, so this is our trademarked Auto Joe test, the worst road in Merrimack, New Hampshire. Let's check it out. So I'm going to approach this at 20 miles an hour, just like I always do. Give everyone a fair chance. So it handles the big bumps fairly well. I will say that you kind of rock back and forth. I wish the suspension was just a little softer, but it's not jarring whatsoever. I'd say it competes pretty well with even some of the larger SUVs, such as the Honda Pilot. So regarding the exterior looks, I feel like this is a pretty handsome SUV. It is a little bug-shaped, and I don't like the front end. It kind of just reminds me of the Ford Fusion, very similar design language. However, the rear is quite good looking. I like the little black trim that runs from taillight to taillight, and the dual exhaust tips are quite nice as well. My one gripe with this car is just how much of this interior is taken up by dashboard. We have this whole section here, and our dashboard really extends quite far into the cabin, kind of compromising our front legroom. Our passengers in the back are quite comfortable. Why can't we be as well? I do feel like I can spread out my legs enough on long road trips. My seat has a nice driver's position to it, obviously it being powered and leather. We do get some nice comfort options there, but I feel like the dashboard could be a little pushed back, but maybe, the firewall just needs that much room, I guess. I also am not in love with the Ford interior design language. The steering wheel has this pebbled leather to it. I don't really like it. I will say that I do enjoy, their button layout for the most part, although I really don't feel like anybody uses voice commands, but that's with any car. Then as far as the screen itself, it looks a little dated to me. I feel like, your Apple CarPlay is where you're going to be for the most part anyways, so that really won't matter. But if you're just in your general settings where you're trying to change your temperature in here, or put on your heated steering wheel, that's where you might be like, kinda not so good looking. So to conclude my thoughts on this 2020 Ford Edge SEL, I am very pleasantly surprised with the amount of options in here. I do feel like some of the buttons are a little lower quality than I might like, but the sound editing is good, the ride quality is good, the steering's good, and yes, heated seats and steering wheel. Very nice for New England. So if you're looking for a mid-size SUV with plenty of standard options and just a 2-row rather than a 3-row, definitely consider one of these Ford Edges. With that being said, please leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.